to the New York Times Close Up. Joining us now, Elsie McCabe-Thompson. In April, she became the president of the New York City Mission Society, the 200-year-old nonprofit that's been helping New Yorkers with the fewest resources with the information and support they need to become healthier and more employable. If you remember stories about the 5 Points in Lower Manhattan, the gangs of New York, then you've probably heard about the New York City Mission Society. It dates to 1812. I was looking up some history about it and realized that the first camping venture of the Mission Society was out on Staten Island. The other weekend you did some camping there with the National Park Service, the National Parks of New York Harbor Conservancy, going back to your very roots. The roots being the model for the Fresh Air Fund, the visiting nurse service, creating libraries. What is the niche of the New York City Mission Society today, Elsie?
What we've always been focused on, standing at the front lines of the war against poverty for, as you ably put, for over 200 years, our core audience, our core clientele, if you will, are, youth. 18 to 24 comprise over 60% of the people we serve. And we are focused on educational, after-school, youth development programs, leadership development programs.
There are a lot of do-good groups around, not enough of them, obviously, but what makes this group distinct, do you think?
Well, part of it is we've been known for innovation. And for over 200 years, as you noted, we have started or gave birth to a variety of iconic institutions around the city, including places like the Fresh Air Fund and the Children's Aid Society. But part of what we'll be doing in the future is offering more depth of service to this unfortunately very needy constituency.
You've only been there literally a matter of weeks. Do you have any sense as to what your goals, priority, agenda are and how they mesh with the new administration?
Well, one of the things we share is the vision of the new administration, and I give my hats off to Bill de Blasio and Melissa, Mark Viverito, for calling citywide attention, national attention to the growing income disparity, not only here in New York, but frankly across the country. And that is something that's been very important to us. Right now, there are nearly 2 million children and families living at or near the poverty line, and that's 2 million too many.
How can people help? How can they volunteer? How can they contribute?
I'm glad you asked.
I thought you would be.
Thank you. To volunteer your time or your money, go to www.newyorkcitynycmissionsociety.org. www.nycmissionsociety.org.
And what about alumni of the society? Did they help too, or are they enlisted also?
Very much so, and we're making concerted efforts to bring them even more into the fold. Because we have literally generations of people who have gone through our programs and benefited, and many of them want and are willing to give back to a new generation to help break the cycle of not only poverty, but the cycle of despair that often comes with not having all of your needs met.
Is there a connection between the society and the public school system? It is now non-denominational. It obviously began as a sort of biblical society.
Yes, there is. We currently run 9 school-based programs, including, in addition to 4 transfer school programs.
And also an anti-gun violence program.
Very much so. It's probably, we think of it as the model in New York City of anti-gun violence. It's quite often that even before the police department knows that there's been a shooting, we know. The hospital will reach out to us, constituents will reach out to us, because they know that we are able to mediate disputes before they escalate into neighborhood wars.
How do you get attention for a group like this? As I said, there are so many groups vying for attention. There's so many groups vying for dollars. There's so many groups trying to do good.
Well, and frankly, there need to be more groups trying to do good, because the needs are that great. But we will continue to perform even better and better services, and we're talking about, greater depth of service, so that, if we're offering an after-school program, the needs don't stop at 6 o'clock, because the average single working mom works not just one job, but 2 jobs.
Quick last question. Patty Cohen in the Times had a story the other day about the Museum for African Art, which you shepherded for 15 years as president, raised nearly $93 million. Now it's sort of in a hiatus. Where it's going is uncertain. Is there still room for a Museum of African Art?
There is absolutely not only room, but there is an overwhelming need for a museum for African art. Particularly in a city as diverse as New York, the museum offers, to not have an institution that celebrates the cultural history of 1/5 of the world's population is just wrong. And Museum Mile should culminate in a museum for African art.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Elsie
you.
McCabe-Thompson,
Thank you,
the
thank
new
you.
president of the New York City Mission Society. The Reporters Roundtable convenes right after these messages.